It is Monday, June 23rd, 2025. It's about 6 o'clock in the evening, and I'm out here with the male sheep, the rams, and the bulls. And if you look on the horizon of the grass, just where the trees appear, you can see little white dots. Those are the cows. They're down there. And this is that pond, if you can call it a pond. Today is about 89 degrees. Pretty dang humid. We just got a sprinkle of rain, less than 1/10 of an inch. So it kind of brought the field back to life. It's starting to dry out a little bit. But it is humid. Yeah, it's like walking into a sauna, which is, you know, if you're trying to stay cool and you go outside, you're going to be miserable. But if your mindset is like, I'm going out to sauna, I'm going to sweat, it's going to come down in buckets, you know, then it's kind of refreshing, actually. You know, just let yourself sweat is one of the tips that I have for people. I learned that when I was serving my mission for my church in South Korea, in Seoul and surrounding areas. It just gets so hot in the summer, especially after the monsoon rain. You can't do anything about it. You can't dry off for, you know, a month of the year, month and a half. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. I was wondering if I could band these little rams. I might be able to. I had someone say that they wanted to buy wethers. I don't know what I guess they plan on fixing their field, or, you know, starting the grazing things with the sheep. I guess wethers are a good way to go. You don't have to worry about them giving birth and getting other sheep pregnant, you know. But if you plan on eating them, they get too old, they start to have a flavor to them. So unless you're looking for that flavor, they call it mutton. It's older sheep, I think over a year and a half, and it has a pretty strong flavor is what I understand. But if you're looking for that, you know, raise your wethers up past a year and go for it, you know. But anyway, oh, there's a nice breeze blowing right now. It's pretty nice in the shade. Yeah. We're almost out of June, and we're going to head into July, and the next thing you know, it's going to be August, and then all the lambs are going to be dropping. The temperature, you know, 90s, 89, 90, 91, 92. That's pretty typical for June and May. Honestly, the latter half of May, it gets up to 90 pretty frequently. And then up and through July in this area, Northeast Texas, we're going to see temperatures in the 90s. You know, the first year I moved here in December 2020, and then 2021 had a really mild summer. Big drought, mild summer, right? So I kept making fun of the people that are from here, and I said, you know, if this is Texas heat, I can live like this, you know. They're like, no, it gets a lot hotter. Some people were telling me back in the 80s there was a summer where it was high humidity and high heat, and animals were dropping like flies. It was just too much heat. And so people were using misters, and they'd bring out the netting, the shade, the artificial shade, try to keep their animals safe. But, you know, with high humidity, it's just, there's not much you can do. There really isn't much you can do, you know. But if you know, things get really bad, I do have this woods here pretty cool. The back 20, my neighbor's back 20, it's about half covered in trees, and there's ponds all over the place. So if it gets really bad, I'll just turn them out back there to get shade. There should be plenty to eat. I haven't checked on it. It looks pretty brown. I see lots of green too. But yeah, I'm not too concerned about the animals when it's 90 degrees out and the humidity's up a little bit. Their body temperature is higher than ours, so they actually do better in the heat. And I've seen these animals graze in the hottest part of the day and just kind of avoid the shade. They really don't, you know, care much for the shade. To them, it probably just feels really good, you know. So that's why I'm not too concerned about the heat. Obviously, they're not little baby humans. If they were, 90 degrees heat with high humidity would be bad. But grass types, I wanted to mention this. I kept, so in the northeast part of my pasture up there near where those animals are, I have deep Dallas grass. And there's some here. I can show you what Dallas grass looks like. It's pretty cool stuff. It kind of has these waxy, sticky seed heads. You see that? But you're not going to notice that. That comes when the Dallas grass is fully mature. You're going to notice the purple tips. That's what you're going to see, is the purple tips on the Dallas grass. And those purple tips appear very young. So if you're looking at your pasture, you see a bunch of grass with purple tips, that's Dallas grass. D-A-L-L-I-S, not A-S, Dallas grass, not Dallas grass. So I see a bunch of Dallas grass. I saw a couple like bunches of grass that are more broadleaf, and I was like, I got to figure out what that is. I don't think it's Johnson grass. Johnson grass, I have some on the perimeter of my property. That stuff will grow 8 feet tall, easy. And they put up leaves all the way almost to the top, But this is some more Dallas grass right here. I can tell because of seed heads. And there's a couple purple tips, right? But every once in a while I'll come across a patch of grass with these thick blades. Here, this looks like they ate this stuff up. It looks kind of like Dallas grass, but it's not Dallas grass, And I'm wondering if that is the famous blue stem or whatever that's supposed to be native to this area. And this fluffy stuff here, this is all Bermuda grass of one type or another, just all over the place. Bermuda grass is a tough cookie. It's kind of hard to tell how much Bermuda grass you have unless you walk in it, because it looks about the same when it's deep and when it's shallow, and it really likes to spread out. The Bermuda grass will spread out first, and then when it runs out of room to spread out, it'll start going up. And I've seen it compete with the spring grass, the cool season grasses, where we'll have some ryegrass, and then up to the middle, the Bermuda grass will be coming up, just shooting straight up for the sky. So it is pretty hardy stuff. It's a great forage. It'll keep your animals fed throughout the summer if you treat the Bermuda grass right. And what I mean by that is give it lots of rest. Let it grow back. Give it lots of rest. It will reward you tenfold, 20-fold. And I swear that this stuff will grow in a drought too, the Bermuda grass. It'll be brown and dead, and then you'll come back 3 months later and it'll have put on several inches. I don't know how it does it, but it does. The Bermuda grass has a really good, strong root system too. You don't want to graze it down to the ground. Just nibble at it and move on. Just take a little bit off the tips and just move on. And the root systems are really strong as long as you don't go all the way down, right? If you give it lots to rest with, it'll reward you. It'll come back and multiply, spread out. The other thing that I love that it does is it crowds out all the weeds, to the point where sometimes I'm wondering if I need more weeds in my pasture for my sheep. So if you want to be in the predicament I'm in, where I don't have enough weeds for my sheep, then do what I'm doing, okay? And I know, woe is me, I don't have enough weeds in my pasture. This stuff, this is goat weed. It's all over the place this year. It's just kind of spread out, kind of thin all over the place. There's a couple places where it's kind of thick. People really don't like goat weed, but I don't mind it. I think it's pretty neat because when it gets really hot out and the sun is just beating down on the soil, the goat weed will provide a nice layer of cover. And I've seen like green grass grow into the goat weed, so I don't have too many complaints about the goat weed. In times past, I've tried shredding it, and it just didn't seem to have any effect at all on the goat weed. So the thing that I think is most successful with the goat weed is just good grazing practices. Just take the tips of the grass and move on. My goal isn't to eat the grass. My goal is to develop the soil, to develop the grass, make the grass stronger and stronger. And obviously, it provides forage for the cows. But, if my cows are eating too much grass, there's not enough grass to leave some behind, then I got to get rid of some cows. That's the way I feel about it. The grass does like being nibbled at. It does like the tip taken off, every 2 to 3 months or whatever. It does like a light pass. It does like to be stomped on a little bit, right? And what I mean by that is not that the grass will grow back stronger because you do that necessarily, but compared to the weeds, the grass just loves it, And so if the animals are out here stomping on everything, and munching on everything, then the weeds are at a huge disadvantage because the grass will just bounce right back. But you got to get your animals off that grass. You know, move in, nibble at it, and move on. Don't come back for, you know, a month or two, at least, you know. Anyway, guys, that's all I got for you. Enough lecturing. But that's kind of the grass situation here. If I had to estimate how much grass I have, I did an 80-foot row with the animals. Now, granted, that area had quite a bit better grass than most areas of my pasture, but let's just say I average about 100 feet every half week, so 200 feet a week. I think, given the grass I have right now, I could probably manage that. You know, 200 feet of the north-south distance. You know, setting up rows 100 feet and then moving them twice a week to a new row. And so that would give me 12 weeks of grass. You know, if not a blade of grass grew a single inch from right now, I would be fat and happy all the way into late September. Right? So that's, I always love to think about it that, like, you know, with the drought, you have to estimate how much grass you have. If you don't have enough grass, you're in a drought. You need to cut back with your grazing. You got to sell the animals early. You know, that kind of stuff. Anyway, guys, that's all I've got for you today. Have a great day. Take care and bye-bye.